Resident Evil 4 remake,
Yes.
right? On the PS5.
Mm-hmm.
Hanging with our bro. So this game was the original when it came out. Well, we were looking at a game. It was a GameCube exclusive.
Yeah.
For a while, the original. And yeah, we played a ton of that back then.
It's about 20 years, did we say? We were looking to see when it came out?
Yeah, something like that.
20 years ago?
Yeah. But yeah, we got together with our other brother and played it this past week and brought back some fond memories.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what'd you think of the remake? Like, did it... I know, like, when we were playing it, you could be like, oh, yeah, I remember this, I think a lot of it was pretty faithful.
Yeah, no, I think, they, without really getting away from, the core that was there, like adding a little bit of polish and filling gaps that makes it feel more like a modern game. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was, at least the parts that we got through, thought it was really good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it was a big game for all of us back then. So I've been telling you and our other brother, Micah, about the remake for a while now. So you guys finally got to see it. And yeah, it's sick. Holds up extremely well because they didn't have to do much, to, like you said, it's the core of it's the same. So, and it was so good then. And then you just told me yesterday when we were at church, you're like, man, what'd you say to me? You're like you just want to keep playing. You're like, I forgot how good of a game it was.
Like you scratch something and then you're like, oh, now it itches more.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of, it was like a reminder, and I was like, man, now I kind of want to play through that.
Yep.
Hey, welcome back to Screen Time TV, a podcast where we discuss the latest streaming shows and typically dive into one show a little deeper. Currently kicking off discussing The Bear season 4. Thus, those that are watching, you can see I got the Yes Chef shirt on.
Yes. Yeah, you should be watching. If you're an audio listener, watch the YouTube video.
And of course, we'll talk about some other things we're watching and do the classic Based or Waste.
Yes.
But Jared, I blame it all on my elegance.
Who says this in the episodes?
Cousin.
Is it cousin? Oh, of course. Yes. I should have known. He has the best lines.
Yeah. So my name is Josh, and this is my co-host, Jared.
Josh, can I start this podcast, or is that going to interrupt your moping?
That was the other one I almost did.
Also cousin.
Yep. That was good. Cool. So let's get into what we've been watching. What do you got? You got anything?
Yes. I have two movies, two films. Yep.
I got 3 TV shows.
All right, cool. You want to?
Okay, well, I'll start.
Yeah, start with your first one.
So I watched the show We Were Liars on Amazon. This is based This is based off of a book. Yeah, it's, not something you probably would like, but
okay.
The story of a 17-year-old girl from a wealthy family, Cody Sinclair, spends her summers on a private island. After suffering a terrible accident, she struggles to remember events that happened in her past. So this actually had a really interesting cast. Like the main girl is played by Emily Allen Lind, who was in Dr. Sleep and Frozen Empire.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she's decent actress. And then also her mom is played by Caitlin Fitzgerald, from Succession and lots of other stuff.
Who is she in Succession?
She's the oldest brother's girlfriend.
Oh, yes.
Escort, whatever she was. Yep. That actress.
Yeah.
Plays her mom.
Cool.
And then the dad or / grandfather, doing is David Morse. He's
that sounds familiar.
Yeah, he was in The Rock, Hurt Locker, The Green Mile. I mean, he's in a ton of stuff.
Nice.
And then there's other other people that are a little less recognizable. Like one of the other sisters is played by a lady that was in some other TV shows, and she was in the Vampire Diaries and the spinoff of that, and so she'd been in some stuff, but not as prominent. Anyway, but it was so interesting cast. But I didn't care for this that much. Like the setup was good, but then as it played off, like, yeah, it didn't end well. I think the biggest thing was the main character, the 17-year-old girl, like her love interest, like they didn't have any chemistry. Like you didn't believe that and like all her trauma, like once you, spoilers, if you, so skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't want to know, all her trauma is based on he dies in between the one summer and the other, and she doesn't remember until the very end, figures out. And then like, but he's been around, so like it's supposed to be his ghost, but then they're like, making out and doing things, so it doesn't make any sense. And then so it's like, and then like the whole time, like I don't believe that she, watching the show, I don't believe that she actually likes him that much, because I just didn't have chemistry. So like for it to be that dramatic, so she had like all this amnesia.
Okay, yeah, that's not really the best storytelling mechanism.
No,
and it does get used a lot.
Yeah,
in TV shows,
but I guess I'm assuming it's all faithful to the book or somewhat. Yeah. So
wow, so you still watched it all, even though
it took, like, you're still like, because you didn't know, you're like watching it and you're like, and it's like it's okay, and then you're like, one of those things where it's like, and it was like filler for when I needed to take a break from doing stuff, and so didn't want to watch something like that I wanted to pay attention to. So it was kind of like that.
Okay.
So but it then once finally the reveal, and because the whole time until the last episode you're like basically don't know. I think it was only like 6 episodes, one it's like a mini series. Maybe it was 7, I don't know, but the whole time you're you don't know what is it that what does it happen to her, what is it that happened to her that she has this like so you don't know, and she's slowly piecing things together. So like it kind of like, by the time I was like 4 episodes in, like I was like, and then, but I'm like, well, it's not that much left to finish it. And then, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you do not recommend?
I do not. No.
Okay.
Don't bother.
All right. I won't. I wasn't going to anyway.
And if I didn't say that was on Amazon Prime,
not
that you should bother, but
yeah, there's other stuff on Amazon.
Mm-hmm. So what you got? What do you got?
First one will be very quick. I watched Rogue One just because we finished Andor, and it was sick. It's still awesome. And actually, I enjoyed it even more. Mm-hmm. Now with all the context from Andor is just really cool, and cool seeing some of the more minor characters in Andor. I'm like, oh, they were in Rogue One too, which is cool. Like they kept the same cast besides the one where we mentioned.
They had to change up.
Yeah, but guy. Like besides him, pretty much everyone else is the same from all the show and the movie, which is awesome. So that's on Disney. Obviously, everything Star Wars is on Disney.
Yeah,
but did you watch it?
Yeah, I talked about it.
You talked about it last
week. Right. Yeah, I watched it right after.
Yeah.
But it was a little, I don't know if it felt like I was a little weird tonal shift, because suddenly you're shifting to Jen Erso being the lead instead of Cassian.
Yeah.
And then also again, like the score and the visuals were very different.
Yes.
And not in a bad way, just like, and so it was just like not, that part wasn't as seamless, right? Like it was like,
yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is a different feel. Not terribly different, but like a different feel, because the score being different and then the visuals being different. But then it also but the cinematography is amazing.
Yeah, it is. And I think the score in it is really great.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, no, it is good. It's just like, it's a different score.
It's more trying to be John Williams
than Andor was. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, Andor's scores very
also
different
good,
from all Star Wars,
but it's just
it's awesome. Yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah, I mean, that's all I really say about it.
Yeah,
I just wanted to mention it. Definitely worth doing once you finish Andor.
The sequel to Andor.
Yeah.
Or
would you say you called it Andor a Cassian story or something? Because it was Rogue One, a Star Wars story. I don't know. You said you called it that when we were doing the pod.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, or Lucas showed me this like reel where the guy's like, somebody went through a time machine from 1996 or something, and like to like or 1995, I don't know, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I heard George Lucas was making prequels to the original trilogy. And then he's like, and his friend's like, yeah. And we've got this new thing called Disney Plus that you can, he's like, oh, that's so cool. He's like, I can't wait to see how the rebellion was started. And blah, blah, like, and it's basically like, the more he talks, he realizes he's like, well, yeah, there's like poverty. And then like, they go back and forth a little bit. And then finally, like the guy's like, he switches from getting ready to watch episode 1,
Yeah.
Phantom Menace, to like, he switches over to Andor. Cause it's like, obviously the stuff the guy's all listing off is like everything you find out about in Andor and not,
Yep.
which is basically how the rebellion gets started.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's not
which is
as
way
much
more
of a
interesting.
focus. Yeah.
And then how,
Lots of politics in the prequels. Yeah.
well, just like, instead of caring about how Anakin became Darth Vader, because that's like the choice that they chose to tell in the prequel movies, instead of how did the rebellion get started.
You think the rebellion's more exciting? Or interesting?
Now, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is way more now with both Andor and Rogue One, but I mean, the Anakin story is just like, just classic, just amazing kind of, what we call it?
Descent into darkness.
Yeah, it's not a hero's journey. It's a
Descent into darkness.
sure, yeah. And like that's such a cool story
I
anyway.
mean, it's a possible cool story.
Well, I know we feel very different about the prequels.
Yeah.
But there's still good stuff in it.
Yeah.
I think there's more good stuff in it, in my opinion, than you, though.
That's probably correct.
In the prequels, yeah.
All right, so something else.
Yeah.
I've been watching. The Gilded Age season 3 started.
Oh, yeah.
This is on HBO Max.
I'm just gonna say HBO now.
Yeah. Well, you can't. I mean, it's still now they've added HBO back to the Max, but it's still HBO Max. They didn't get rid of the Max.
Okay, I was wondering if they were going to just revert back. I know we talked about this already.
I mean, it's not changed
changed
yet.
it.
Like at least the icon still
Yeah.
on my like Apple TV just says Max.
Yeah.
It doesn't say HBO Max again.
Yeah.
But at some point it's changing. Yeah. The conflict surrounding the new money Russell family and the old money neighbors, the Van Ryan family, in the 1880s in New York City high society.
Is it so in season 3? Is it 1880 or is it later now?
It's now.
I'm curious.
It looks like
where's it at?
it's picking up in about 1884.
Okay.
But like the season 1 starts in 1880, and then they they kind of get through a little bit of time, and then last season was, I guess, I don't know. Season 2 was probably 82, 83, somewhere in there.
This came back pretty quick because I remember you talking about on the pod. I don't think season 2 was
Near a year ago.
that long ago. Yeah.
Well, I think there was a bigger gap because of COVID or some other reasons, writer strike, something.
Yeah.
Between season 1 and 2, but yeah. But I really enjoy the show. I mean, it's because it's like pseudo historical accurate, so it's really fascinating to just like see this history recreated, and it's kind of interesting because it is like the kind of almost like the royalty of American royalty kind of feel.
Yeah.
And because it has like a lot of what you would see like in like a British show that you think that, but it's like seeing all that stuff in the
Right, because is this connected or at least compared to Downton Abbey in some way?
same writer creator.
Same writer. Okay.
Yeah.
Not in the same universe though.
No.
Okay.
Not but no, I don't think so. I mean,
Okay.
This is before, because I think Downton Abbey is like 1910s, 1915.
Yeah, I don't
something
know.
like that. It's like this would have to go a couple decades before he would catch into.
Right.
There'd be a crossover anyway. So I guess he could still do that if it goes enough seasons.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, it's not.
Okay.
But it's really cool just how well they integrate historical events and historical people into the thing, though, even though your main characters are kind of made up and kind of they're normally based on a hybrid of a couple of real people that existed. So
but the actual historical people have shown up in each season?
Yeah, some of this, like side characters and stuff, they'll have like
Cool.
real historical people show up. and interest and then definitely historical events and things like in season 2, I think, or one of them, they opened the Brooklyn Bridge, that
Nice.
when it, things like that. That's just like cool. So I really enjoy the show. And, I think season 1 was a little, like, it wasn't bad, but it was a little slow to kind of get going. But season 2 was really good. And like so far, season 3 seems to start off well too.
This is a show I definitely have wanted to watch. I just haven't. Or I think I might have started it, but yeah, maybe for that reason I didn't really keep going. But,
yeah, season 1's a little.
Yeah, but I mean, I know. Yeah, you've mentioned a lot of times how much you like the show. I know. I think Mom or Dad just mentioned it to me. It's one of the very few things that Mom even watches because she can't.
It's pretty clean for
Yeah,
like
that's why
they
Mom.
don't curse and then there's not really a bunch of like they keep it pretty.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then also, I mean, it's crazy to see Carrie Coon back in this, even though that's what I'd seen her more recently, and then seeing her in The White Lotus is a very different role.
Very different, yeah.
Very different.
I'm sure.
And then see her back in this, but she's also great in this. So,
yeah, she's a great actress. Yeah.
So I would definitely recommend it to anybody if you haven't checked it out to give it a chance. And it's
it seems really good, even just what I've seen of it so far, and just trailers of it.
Yeah. So The Gilded Age season 3 on Max.
I was going to ask also because this is something I pay so much attention to, and I mention a lot, is the actual set design and like accuracy of the time period. So they do a good job with that too.
Yep. Yeah, they're very
Nice.
very intent on that as well. So,
Cool.
Yeah. It's also cool because there's like the one guy, the wealth guy, like he's the new money guy. Like he's built it on like the railroad and like things like that. And so the first episode in season 3, he's out in Arizona like trying to, but it felt like he was like a Western, and I was
Nice.
like, oh, this, I know, I mean, this is a side note, but like, we're going to talk about There Will Be Blood. And then like, it felt like it was like, could have been just, oh, this is only 20, 30 years later.
Yeah. So kind of around the same time. Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, it was
Nice.
it was kind of like a interesting kind
So
of.
you watched it around the same time as like the movie,
if you're
or
watching
like,
it, watched it this week. Well, yeah, it was just, yeah.
Nice.
All right, what else do you got?
Yeah. So, well, speaking of time periods, this is another thing takes place a little later than Gilded Age and There Will Be Blood that we were talking about. But I finally watched The Brutalist, and it's on HBO now, or Max, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking forward to it anyway. I just hadn't watched it yet. It is 3.5 hours long also. So I watched it in 2 sittings. I didn't go through the whole thing. One cool thing to start though is they do a really cool intermission in the middle, where it shows like a portrait of like our main characters and, just some music playing, and then it has like a countdown. So like, it's cool. They just like kept that in. That like would have been when it was in theaters.
Right.
And yeah.
Which is nice to know that's there, because then it gives you a natural point that
Definitely.
you can do it in 2 sittings if you want.
But I didn't stop it there is my problem. So that would have been the best place to stop it. But yeah.
Okay.
So you haven't seen this yet, right?
No, I'm not. Well, I saw some scenes from it because we were in at that theater in Chicago
that's right,
filming
yeah.
when it was premiering on 70 millimeter, like which was I think it might have been the weekend before it really came out everywhere else.
Okay.
Like it was like, how a lot of times they do, like if they do some kind of special premieres or like a week early. It might have been the same week. I can't remember, but like we're showing it in 70 millimeter print. And
I would have loved to see it in the 70 millimeter because another thing to mention is it's shot on VistaVision. Really beautiful looking movie anyway, but definitely unique like look to it, which I guess is the VistaVision. I'm not familiar with that. I've heard that name before. Was that like just kind of an older thing that people don't do much anymore? Because I'm assuming that was like what they did like in I don't know, like the 40s and 50s in Hollywood movies more. Well, Josh is looking it up, but so also I want to say the score in this movie is incredibly good.
So it's because I didn't know this. So this one.
Okay.
It is a film format that uses 35 millimeter stock fed horizontally instead of vertically, so that the camera results in a larger negative area and a finer grain than traditional 35 millimeter film. It allows for higher resolution and wider aspect ratio, often used for widescreen movies, while VistaVision films could be print onto standard 35 millimeter for projection. The larger negative provided superior image quality.
Okay.
I guess they shot that in film, and if that was the case, because that wouldn't be a digital.
Yeah, and I can't imagine how long this shoot was for this movie, since it's so long anyway, and it spans also. So it starts in the mid 1940s, and the whole story spans to like the 60s. And at the very end, I won't spoil anything, but at the very end, then it jumps to 1980, like very quick at the end to see something. But it's about an immigrant that comes to America, that which is Adrian Brody. And by the way, I love him as an actor anyway, but he's amazing in this. He comes to America, but he has a very specific, he's an architect. Again, with brutalist architecture is like what he specializes in.
Mm-hmm.
And he was well known for what he did in Austria, I think is where he was originally. But then for a few different reasons, he was basically pushed out of there and came to America. But then at first in America, they don't really, they don't understand it yet. And then the people that do see like his sketches and stuff, they just think like, oh, this is either too weird or like too modern, quote unquote. But then obviously as the movie goes on, but just a really cool, like, honestly, it was a really fascinating story that I was okay with it being 3.5 hours long. Like it's done really well. The other characters, actually kind of a Rogue One crossover. His wife in the movie is Felicity Jones. Is that her name? Who
plays
Jen Erso, yeah. There's a few other people I recognize. Guy Pearce, and then a few others. But yeah, obviously I love that kind of time period that a lot of the movie takes place in. But yeah, just a really cool story in his journey, like through, I mean, there's a lot that happens obviously, but yeah, really good. Amazing acting, especially with Adrian Brody in particular. But yeah,
cool.
Even if you're not interested in architecture, but specifically his style, like very geometric, like it is awesome. Like it's so cool. And you get to see an example of it a lot in the movie. But yeah, very cool architecture. So
yeah, I was interested in watching this and just haven't gotten around to.
Yeah, I hadn't either until now. And I don't even remember why I decided to check it out this week, but I think I was on an Adrian Brody kick anyway. I don't know. I was watching him in something else recently too, but also though the time period though is just sick. But yeah, so that's on HBO now, so it's easier to watch. It's not only just VOD, so it's actually streaming now.
Nice.
So that's it that I have.
I just have one more. So
okay.
Because of the We Were Liars,
yeah,
kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. I was like, I need something. And I was like, I need something that is going to be that kind of, the teen drama kind of thing. And I was like, I need something good. And I was like,
good teen drama. Okay.
Yeah, something, because I was just like, that was to like, have as a filler for stuff when I. Anyway, so I was like, decided, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to ask ChatGPT some good options. And I was like, hey, I watched this. I can't remember.
Let the robots decide.
Yeah. And I was like, so what are some good options? So it fed me some stuff that I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen that, or, well, whatever. But then one of the things it gave me, so I decided to check this out, was this show on Netflix called Elite.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is a Spanish-speaking show
Yes.
and made in Spain. And the premise is when 3 low-income students are offered a scholarship to attend an exclusive school, their affluent classmates react with distrust and hostility. The friction that ensues results in a murder, which inevitably alters all of their lives, which is kind of season 1. I mean, obviously, there's 7 seasons of this.
I was going to say, I remember this has been going for a while because I've heard of it.
Yeah.
But that's crazy.
There's 7 seasons of this on Netflix. So I did watch season 1.
Okay.
And yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, obviously you got to get over either reading subtitles or
the dub, which is normally bad.
Which is bad. But then I started out trying to do the subtitles, but then the problem was it defeated the purpose of why I was watching it, which is like, I don't want to
While
not
you're
have
doing
to
other
think.
stuff.
I want to be able to do other things and just kind of have a filler thing.
Yep.
So then I ended up reverting to using the dub, which is like cheesy, but then I'm like, I'm not.
Some of them are better than others with the Netflix dubs. Some of them are horrible though. So this one was okay.
It's bearable. It's just, yeah, it's bearable. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It's more about the, like, it's weird. What I think it is the performances are always weird.
Yep.
It's like not that, it doesn't bother me that the mouths don't match up. Like that doesn't bother me. But it's like, there's something about the performances that just don't match what you're watching.
No.
And then you're like, okay, this is, yeah. So I don't know. Or
it's not like showcasing the same emotion that like should be. Yeah. I know that. Yeah. That was my issue with Dark on Netflix, which was an amazing show. That like I wanted to do the dub because I hate reading subtitles, but it just like, man, and that show is so complicated and confusing anyway. It was just like, and the dub was not great, but
yeah. So anyway, yeah, I mean, if you're looking for something like, I don't mind the subtitles or the dub. It's a pretty good story. I'm surprised they actually at this point hadn't remade it like an English version anyway. There's 7 seasons and
probably will.
I mean, I'm just
it's
surprised.
Probably in the works.
Yeah, they haven't done that. Just recast it, do something in America, film it in America, but like, I don't know. Anyway.
I mean, they do that with so many shows anyway.
Yeah.
Where it's a foreign show that they'll do. I mean, they just did that with The Agency, which was a sick show. That was based on The Bureau, a French show. And both of those are great. Yeah. It happens all the time.
Yep. So that's all we've been watching.
Yeah.
This week. Little news section.
Okay.
That we need to discuss. Denis Villeneuve directing the next James Bond movie.
Yes.
This is pretty exciting from, I think, both of ours perspective.
Yes. And the first director we covered on the pod.
Yeah, he's the first one we covered on the pod. He's a favorite of both of ours.
Yes.
And then we have a history with James Bond because our dad, like, we grew up watching, like, when what was it, TNT would do like the marathon or whatever. As a kid, like, I remember we would always watch them there. I think my dad even had them taped on VHS from some of those. You record the shows.
I remember both. Yeah, I remember watching them on TV and different recordings of them. Yeah, on VHS.
And then eventually later, like myself owning them all on DVD, and then I own them all now on whatever iTunes. It's not called iTunes anymore, but like.
And then your old versions, Dad has now, right? I think.
Yeah, I gave them to him because
he has the old.
Because I now have 4K HDR versions of them. So it's like, it's not. I don't really need those, but So evidently, I was looking for like we have a quote from Villeneuve saying he's a lifelong Bond fan, and it's sacred territory, and he said he intends to honor the tradition, open the path for many new missions to come. So that's pretty.
Was
good.
that him kind of saying like, "I'll do more than one"?
I don't know, or at least he's hoping to kind of reset it up for it to be, good to continue to go.
Yeah.
This will be the 26th Bond movie, and it's the first one under the Amazon full control. And then, while there's no release date yet, production could begin as early as 2026. Because with a potential 2027 release, as Villeneuve is currently finishing up Dune Messiah. So
I thought they just started filming. So is he?
I guess they're
they've been
wrapping
in?
up.
Okay.
I was just pulling stuff from like, I think Hollywood Reporter or, some
Okay.
quotes and stuff.
Well, that's good to hear because I thought they were a little behind on Messiah, but that's great.
So I guess maybe that means Doom Messiah come out next year.
I think what I saw was like end of next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
is very
a lot
exciting.
of post editing and effects and all that
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
But no, I mean, this is an exciting choice. I mean, obviously, of the films he's done, I guess Sicario would be the closest thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I imagine he's going to do something different.
Yeah, but like think about obviously it's not the same kind of action, but think of like how he shot the action scenes in Sicario.
Mhm.
Like that in a Bond movie would be amazing.
Well, even the action scenes in Dune, like I think about Dune too, like just that like repelling, like where those guys are just up on that, like like there's some cool.
Well, we talk about a lot how much Villeneuve is so good at like presenting a sense of scale in his movies.
Yeah.
Not only with the Dune movies, we talked about in Arrival and other things that he's done too. Blade Runner, obviously too. So like, and I think you mentioned this to me about like doing more of the world building too, which would be really cool if he delve into that some as well in this next movie.
Yeah. So,
but he can make it bigger in scope. Maybe he doesn't want to though, since he's done that a lot. Maybe he wants to be really kind of focused.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think either way, if it's a little, because Sicario is a little bit more of a more intimate.
That is true.
Thing versus like the bigger,
mainly just
bigger
the border.
scopes. So
area,
well, I don't know, but either way, I think whatever he's going to do is probably going to be good. So I have faith.
Yeah,
that he's going to do something cool.
He's never made a bad movie. He's one of the few directors that's like, it's crazy. I hope he still has enough time to do other stuff too. Like I hope they don't try to get him to like immediately sign on to do like a trilogy.
Another couple Bonds, yeah.
Yeah, like I hope he does other stuff because we talked about he already has something else that I think he was originally going to do because he originally wasn't going to do Messiah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess he put that on holds because I think he already had.
And now it sounds like it sounds like he's going to roll into doing James Bond. Right. So that's still
it's held off. But I think it's a full script of something. I remember seeing the name of it a while back, but yeah. I just hope he doesn't. That's my main thing. It's just I hope he doesn't get locked down too long for this
big stuff and do something more original.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because like, how cool would it be if he went back, like real small scale again, and did something really weird, like Enemy, like a movie like that? Because like we both love that movie, and it's like it was very original, very different than a lot of his other movies too. Enemy and Prisoners both are like that.
Yeah.
And like that'd be cool if he did something like that again too.
I agree.
Yeah. All right.
It's time for Based or Waste.
Welcome back, everyone, to Based or Waste, the internet game show where we go on Rotten Tomatoes and we look and see what's trending, TV shows and movies. And I picked 10 of them. And Josh is going to guess if they're good or bad, if they're based or waste. And we go off of the audience score because critics are critics.
Enough said.
Yeah. Audience score is more accurate, but sometimes it's weird also. So you never know how it's going to go. But we are back to TV.
Okay.
So get into your TV mindset. You're a film guy now from CinemaCon, like I mentioned last week. So you gotta. But I don't know. You only watched TV this week, though.
I did.
Besides the film we're about to cover. But all right, are you ready?
I'm ready.
I think you had Almost Perfect last week, 9.
I think so.
Yeah. So see how you do. I'm hoping you know of all these. There wasn't a ton new that I could pick from.
Okay.
So this first one is Squid Game Season 3, which is the final season. Just came out. What do you think?
I'm gonna say based.
No.
Ooh.
It is a waste. It's a 51, which is very surprising. I would have said based also. First season was insanely high. It was like a huge hit. Second season, I believe, was also, I liked it. And I think it's also rated high. So, not sure why. This is at that right now. But it just came out too. So I don't know.
You did.
We'll see. All right. Next one is what we're about to talk about. The Bear. Season 4.
The Bear season 4.
Yes.
I'm gonna say based.
Yes.
Okay.
It's at a 68 right now, though, which is interesting.
Still a little low.
Yeah. I don't know, but I didn't check. I'm curious what season 3 is at now, because obviously that's like
Been out for a while.
in like I would say the worst of all the
three
seasons
so far. Yeah.
Yeah, that's at a 68. Okay. This also just came out. This is the newest Marvel show, Ironheart,
Mm-hmm.
which looked awful, and I didn't even realize it already came out.
This
But,
one's tricky.
Yeah, does everyone like it or not? You never know with Marvel,
Yeah.
especially with Marvel TV.
I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna say based.
No.
Mm.
Around the line, it's at a 55, but it's
So
it's a
close.
waste right now. Yeah, I didn't think this was going to be good, but also, I mean, well, you spoke highly about Thunderbolts, but Thunderbolts, the rating is like crazy high. Like I was surprised how high that one is. So, all right, this next one you just talked about, I think last week, The Waterfront. Season 1.
This is tough because
Yeah, you didn't really like
I
it.
didn't care for the first episode. Like I haven't gone back to watch more,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna say based.
Yes. 66.
Yeah, because I know it was on the top 10 TV shows on Netflix.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I said that, because like, which means like people are watching it,
Right.
and so
Whether it's good or not.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people watching it. Yeah.
so. But yeah, like I said, I might circle back and watch at least another, because I only watched one episode. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like we talked about before, how much time do you give a show? How much time should you give a show?
I think 3 episodes. If it's like a thing that's a season, like a 10 episode season, I think 3 episodes before you can really judge it.
What if it's a half an hour versus an hour long show though?
I still think 3.
3? Okay.
Mhm.
So universally just 3.
Yeah, unless it's like a mini series, like it's like only 6 episodes. Then,
Yeah.
then probably
That's half of it then. if you're-
then 2 is probably enough.
Okay.
Basically, if you can get, like, I feel like you can get past like all the setup, right? Like a lot
Yeah.
of times, if you're at a 10 season thing, you've got a little bit of setup that's happening even in those first couple episodes, that establishing characters and stuff. And so,
Yeah. All right. Next, this is a new Apple show, Smoke.
mm-hmm.
Actually, it's a miniseries, I think. I think it's the same people that did another Apple miniseries. I'm forgetting the name of it,
Mm-hmm.
but
Let's say based. I don't know.
yes, 85.
Okay. Well,
I need to check this out. I haven't yet though.
I haven't either.
Maybe next week. It looks interesting. All right, we are halfway through. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now you also just talked about this, The Gilded Age, season 3.
I mean, I guess based.
Yep, 70.
Yeah. I mean, there's only 2 episodes out so
Yeah.
far. Well, I don't even know when you check this, because
This I did really like.
episode 2 just came out last night. So
I think I wrote these down last night or sometime yesterday. So sometimes I do it earlier than that. But so this is pretty. Again, though, by the time this is actually posted,
right.
a lot of stuff can change.
Sure.
Yes, that's at a 70. This is also another Apple show. Not sure why it's trending because it's a little bit older. also a miniseries, I think, called Suspicion. All I know is Uma Thurman's in it. I don't remember what it's about though.
Never watched this one.
I didn't either, but it looks interesting. But I don't know why it's trending right now, because it is like a couple years old. I want to say.
Yeah. I'm gonna say based.
No, this is crazy. So, because it looked like some other people were in it too besides her, but obviously she's great. But this is a waste. This is at a 25, which is like probably the lowest I've ever seen anything, especially on Apple.
So then why is it trending?
I don't know, but that's why I also put it down, because I'm like this is. It's just fascinating. I don't know why it's. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, 25, which is crazy. I didn't look to see what the critics' score was, but yeah. All right, then another Apple show, something that's coming back very soon, which is exciting, is Foundation. This is going to be the score for all seasons, or season 1 and 2.
I always say based on this. It's
Yeah. 70. Which I want to look. I should look to see what the score is for season 1 and 2 separate, because that show definitely got better as it went. And I haven't finished season 2, but season 2 is definitely better than season 1.
Yeah, I'd say season 2 is really good.
Yeah, especially the end. I know you remember you talking about it, how good the ending of season 2 is. So I wonder how high that's rated.
And just Lee Pace is so great.
Oh, dude, he's so good in everything. Like underrated show, *Halt and Catch Fire*. That show was sick. He was awesome in that. But yeah, his character in this, Brother Day, it's awesome. All right, this is, I think this just finished, but this is a show I brought up a lot, that I think is consistently good, and is now in season 4, Godfather of Harlem. I'm glad it's getting more recognition now too, because it's a show that not many people watched at first. But season 4 just ended, and so I want to put it on here.
This is the rating for season 4?
Season 4, yes, okay. Not for the other ones.
Me
personally, though, I've said this show has always been really good, in my opinion.
I'm going to say based.
Yes, it's an 81. I'm behind on it. I haven't seen season 4 yet, but this is I've brought this up so many times because the cast is so crazy, and it's like shot well. It's a period piece, and it's like, but just not many people watched it, which is sad, but it's an MGM show, that's why. But I think it's on, I mentioned it to you to check it out. I think it's on Hulu now, I want to say. So, all right, then the last one. This is another really sick, underrated show. Also, I'm glad that it's trending. Is Kin. Kin. This is a Irish show.
I'm not familiar with this.
Like a kind of crime show. Very similar to like Mobland type of feel. Charlie Cox is in it though. And at least one other person in it that I recognize. I think this is also finally streaming somewhere better now. So that's why it's trending. Yeah, but this is for season 1 and 2.
Okay. I'll say based.
Yes, this is a 92.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. I only watched a little bit of it, but it is really good. Yeah. So I'm glad some of these really good shows are starting to get more recognition now. That's the other thing, is if a show is like that's really good, but not many people watch, like, I'm always worried it's going to get canceled.
Yeah.
And that's always frustrating. One of the most recent ones that I was so mad when they canceled it was the TV show remake of High Fidelity. You remember that? It was like 2 years ago it came out. Because I love that movie so much. And they did it one season of the TV show with, oh gosh, Zoe Kravitz.
Oh, okay.
Instead of John John Cusack.
Mhm.
Yes, John Cusack. And she was awesome in it too. I mean, obviously we just talked about her in the studio, but yeah, then they canceled it. Don't know why. It's frustrating. It was a Hulu show. Anyway. All right. Okay. You still did. It was a rough start at first. I was like, but got 7.
Mm-hmm.
So not bad.
Respectable.
Yeah. Respectable 7. Yes. Let us know how you all did. Playing along at home, all that. And also let us know if you've seen this stuff, like some of these random, like that Apple show that like is rated at 25. Like I want to know if anyone has watched that, because that's crazy. I don't think we've
Suspicion.
Suspicion. I don't think we've seen hardly anything since we've done this rated that low.
That's true.
All right. Well, good job, Josh. And thanks for playing. And that's been Based or Waste. Tune in next week.
All right. Well, then we'll switch up and go to The Bear, Season 4, Episode 1, Groundhog.
Just Groundhog.
That's the title of it. Yeah.
Okay.
And it says, today looks like yesterday.
Yeah.
This is, starts with Carmi watching Groundhog Day.
Well, not the very...
Maybe not the very first
No,
scene.
not the very first scene, because I have a note about the very first scene.
Yeah.
But
All right. So, Will, what's your note about the very first scene?
well, we want to do overall thoughts, or I know
sure,
we should get
sorry.
into all that, or
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, overall thoughts on the episode.
for one and two, I'll say.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to have this show back, and I know we both really love the show. We just mentioned last season kind of ended a little weird and seemed like they were kind of, I don't know, spinning their wheels a little bit. And these first 2 episodes still kind of like a carryover from that, like a little slow, but I still really enjoyed them. And I was just happy to be back with these people.
Yeah.
So,
And you saw, I agree. You saw a little bit of momentum pick up in episode 2.
yes.
So, but yeah. Well, let's get into episode 1 first.
So also I wanted to mention, just speaking of the creator, Chris Storer, he apparently, I saw something, I don't know if it was an article. He talked about how like he never specifically said this was the final season, but it seems like it is. And also because I remember we talked about they filmed 3 and 4 back to back, which also makes sense because all these actors are so busy with other projects.
Yep.
So that makes sense. But also that kind of seems like, all right, we're going to finish this out, But I don't know. He wanted to reiterate, I guess, that like, I don't know. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting. He just mentioned that.
Okay. That is interesting.
Seems like a final season to me, though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, you said you had a note about the opening.
Yeah. I just love starting this season with Carmi and Mikey, his older brother. And they're talking about their dad, which actually hasn't been mentioned. The dad hasn't been mentioned that much in the show.
Correct.
And I thought it was a really great opening scene, and I love when they throw John Bernthal into the show because they do it so sparingly, but so effective. I think he's an amazing actor anyway, but like, it's just really cool when we get to see him in this, and they do it like they don't overuse him, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So
yeah, and that scene with the two of them,
yeah,
is where I started to notice it seemed like they were doing more. I don't remember these as much in previous seasons. Of course, I haven't rewatched them recently, but they were framing them very close.
Yeah.
And like they're like back and forth in the dialogue.
They did that not through the whole show, but I remember a little bit at the end of last season they did that. Because I think I remember it specifically with the episode of I'm blanking on her name now, but the sister giving birth. They shot like really tight on their faces, her and the mom. And
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, they definitely are doing that a lot in this now too. You're right. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I was kind of thinking, I mean, the way I was kind of approaching this is a little bit more like character based.
Sure.
Than specific plot by plot. So looking at Cowermy, where he's at, like, I feel like in this first episode, you can tell me how you feel about it, but I feel like he's kind of like his emotional state, which it's like he's quiet and reserved, but then also like, you know, he feels like he's like just kind of like, okay. I mean, he's not even arguing on some stuff, right? So it's like hard to tell. Is he growing as a person, you know, or is he just secluding himself even more and like turning more inside and not interacting even, you know, like not even to the point where he's arguing with people. So
right.
Like, and I feel like they haven't, this kind of goes into both a little bit, because even in episode 2, they haven't really told us one way or the other, and it's kind of like ambiguous.
Yes.
There's little hints of like maybe it's growth, but then also because he says he's trying, he talks to Sydney and blah, blah, blah. But it's not obvious, I don't think at all.
No, I think to your point, I think it's both, because especially with showing the scene of him watching Groundhog's Day, I thought was like a good comparison to how he feels right now, and being kind of stuck in a loop, but also making an effort to grow and make a positive change with himself as well. So that's why I think it's both. Like, he's still feeling that way, and that's kind of why he's I don't know, just kind of not shutting down, but not as, I guess, reactive as he used to be with people. And that's why I love when Richie, cousin, calls him out. It's like, hey, are you moping? And all the stuff he says is great, which he's always done. I mean, their back and forth is always like some of the best parts of this show.
All right, and then let's see, we talk about kind of a little bit of stuff of like what's happening in the restaurant. We have kind of like the new people come in because they're like, he's like, I won't hire any more new people.
Yeah.
And he hired a couple of people from the restaurant that closed, right? That's where she came from?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And so she's kind of helping run things.
Yeah.
Making it a little smoother. So it looks like they're trying to make things run a little smoother.
Yeah, she was the one I was like, at first it confused me because I was like, I don't remember this character. But then, yeah, I realized, yeah, you're right. It's someone from the place that closed. Yeah.
And then they're, in general, dealing with repercussions of the review being kind of this weird mixed review.
Which was that's how the last season ended on him rating
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just find it interesting, like kind of, there's this like kind of this messy, like when you just like something didn't work creatively and you're just kind of in this like, which kind of goes back to Groundhog. You just feel like you're treading water, going through the motions. Every day seems the same because you're not sure where to go because you push so hard to do something and then it didn't work.
Yeah.
So creatively, and then it's like as a creative person, he's kind of like Carmi and everyone else. Like it's like everyone's kind of in this weird like limbo, right?
For sure.
So, but I think you see that shift a little bit in episode 2, where just focusing on kind of everyone's just focused on getting a little bit better.
Yep.
And just getting, less mistakes, more smooth, and gives them something to focus on and work on. That's kind of, I think, is going to start, getting them out of that funk. But we haven't seen it really do anything. But like,
no, I imagine episode 3, even, yeah, we'll see more of that. That's the weird thing about like how to cover the show. Like we're going to go 2 episodes at a time, but it's like, because they release it all at once, it's like,
mm-hmm.
we just kind of just go through them and binge them. So that, we have these kind of spots where like these first 2 might seem a little slow, but it's like the setup to, I imagine there's going to be a lot that happens. I did see that there's like a hour-long episode, so I'm excited for that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm hoping it's another, I don't know, crazy one, like, especially in season 2, if it's like all family again, which was like one of the best episodes. I'm hoping for something like that.
And then just the other note was, I find it interesting is, I was looking, so I'm reading this book by Will Guerra called Unreasonable Hospitality. And he was he was 26 when he took over 11 Madison Park, a struggling 2-star restaurant that had never quite lived up to the hype. And it was in New York City. And then 11 years later, it was named the best restaurant in the world.
Dang.
So he's I mean, it's just a book about business and hospitality and business. But the interesting was then looking up because I was like, well, let me look up the description of the book on Amazon. And then it mentions in the book, it says this book inspired The Bear.
The show, The Bear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So they must, it's even referenced in the show or something somewhere. I didn't.
Nice.
I mean, it must have been maybe in the first season or something. I don't know.
That's a cool connection,
but
not even
like,
intended.
Yeah, unintended. And I just was thinking, I was like, oh, I've been listening. I use Audible. I don't like read the physical copy, but
yeah.
I'm like halfway through the book, and he's talking about all these things that they're kind of implementing in these first 2 episodes of like how you refine, and then literally the quote they said, and this is, I think it was in episode 2, where the one guy said when they were talking about like, how do you know the critic comes or whatever, and he's like, well, you got to treat everyone like they're a VIP, because if you only treat him a VIP, he'll notice.
For sure.
And so like, and they don't say it that way in the book, but he definitely talks about like they didn't know, they knew they were going to get, it's like somehow they knew, I can't remember now the details, but they knew they were going to get someone coming in the next couple of months that was going to rate. And he's like, but we have no idea what the person looks like. So all you can do is just make sure and so they started practicing every evening. They would pick someone to be the one and try to like level up with that one person. And so it was like the point where like, then they eventually were treating everyone like a VIP, like, and then, so by the time the person actually came in that's a
good way to practice and to start off slow and easy. And then,
so it was interesting. Yeah. It was just these little things sticking out in the show that I might have not picked up on before because of reading this book. And so I thought it was, again, a little interesting crossover that happened.
Yeah, that's cool.
Organically. I think because these things like blur together, even though I separated them on here, like then as we start talking. So I think next time I might end up.
Well, I only have one more note. It's just something because I love Richie so much. I mean, he's one of my favorite characters for sure. I love how much he loves Ridley Scott, which even back in season 1, like he called all the customers replicants or he called the staff replicants before. He's always referencing Ridley Scott movies a lot. And then in this first or second episode, he's watching an interview of Ridley Scott, and he memorized it, which is like crazy to go to that length. That's how much he loves this guy and his movies. Because you also see in his apartment, he's got a lot of posters of his movies too. But just great.
Yeah. And then, so speaking of Richie, like, so do you think has he really changed, or is he just better at playing the role? Because he seems
Playing the role of what?
He seems to be like not being as pushy with not as much, like he's just kind of like the comment, oh, is it right if I lock up? Or
okay,
so like, do we think is he actually growing a little bit since season 3, or is he just kind of
I don't know. I think it's too early to tell, because you see kind of even when he goes home and he's laying on the couch watching this interview, and he kind of is laying, and even the way he's kind of staring at the TV is the same way you see Carmy staring at the TV with Groundhog Day playing. So I think in some ways maybe Richie's also kind of feeling like he's similar to Carmy, also stuck in a loop and maybe a little bit on autopilot right now. I don't know. That's just me guessing, and obviously that's going to change as the season goes, but maybe in this moment, I don't know. It kind of seems like that way. They kind of paralleled both of them with the way they were at home.
Right. And then I think, you have to see everyone trying to blame themselves for the reason the review.
Yep.
And so I think they are all, kind of dealing with that. Because you also got Sydney. It was like she's still in between, like she hasn't decided, like we keep seeing her, the stuff from the other guy they offered the restaurant, but then she also hasn't signed the partner agreement for the bear,
right? Like
that's sitting in her inbox, and she's like hovering over that. So like and then suddenly she's like even turned off, or not turned off, but confused by Carmy's niceness almost. Like she's like, oh yeah, whatever you like, his trust, and like not like questioning her anymore.
Well, she, a lot of the time it seems like she's really like focused always on one thing, because all those things you just mentioned in this episode that she's kind of brushing off. I mean, you also see a scene where like she doesn't even want to answer the phone of her dad calling her, so it's like she's just focused on one thing, which just seems like is just the menu, I guess. And basically, and trying to overcome this review, and basically
yeah.
Do
you think I was thinking about like, she's so not turned off, but like so taken aback is better when Carmy doesn't give her like feedback on the menu. Do you think is that because she's not confident enough in her own abilities, and she wants his approval, like kind of like to give her direction, or is it just because she's used to them kind of butting heads about things to get?
I don't know. She's definitely, I mean, I think a lot of it is just she can't really read Carmy right now, and she's kind of confused on where his head's at right now. So I think she just doesn't know how to respond to it in the moment.
And then what was I was trying to remember, who was it his sister was texting?
I don't know, because because she freaks out on her husband because he mentions he ran to her.
Was it?
I don't. I
Was
was
it
trying to figure
Claire?
out.
Like the current, but like
No,
no,
I don't think so.
I didn't think so either. Because I thought that would remind me of that. But like,
No, I was trying to figure out who it was too.
yeah, yeah.
It might be someone that just we haven't met yet, and they were just setting up. But yeah, I'm not sure.
So then, I mean, what's evidently we didn't talk about the uncle and slash the computer coming in and setting this thing up
the
with
timer,
the timer that they basically have. What was it? 2 months, 3 months, 2 months,
something like that.
Carmi can't do math. They have 2 months to like really start making some income, or they're shutting things down. Yeah. And then they mentioned the like beef window.
Right.
He's like making bank.
Yeah.
And then that guy,
selling out, yeah.
Right, is it his name Ebra, or is that different? Or is that this one guy? I'm trying to remember. But like he's doing all these extra things.
Yeah.
He has like one of those delivery robots he's using.
Yes.
Which where was I at sometime in the last? And I saw
you seen them in the wild?
I saw one maybe it was when I was in Hollywood.
Oh yeah, probably there. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And he's like, you like try to get out of the way of it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, and then Tina is also like kind of her little bit of like obsession on trying to hit the number on. But then she's also helping Marcus, the pastry chef, because his stuff's been a mess. Seems like he's one of the people behind on everything.
Yes, but we don't really see that much of her or Marcus these 2 episodes. So don't really know too much of what's going on with him yet.
So the second episode is called Sue Bees.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that reflects on what's happening on the? What do you think that title means in this episode?
Oh, I don't know, because I don't remember what dish they're referring to with that. I know they talk about it and they showed in the episode, but I don't remember what it was. Do you remember what it was?
No. I mean, it's like some kind of onion something, right?
I don't know.
But did it seem interesting though, like the use of like the red line, like going down, and then like it did flatline there for a while, and then just at the tail end of episode 2, it seemed like it was kind of.
Oh yeah,
because we know they're not going to close it, so
no.
As much as like they try to build tension with that, like it's kind of like, well,
I mean, but at the end of this season,
yeah, maybe
could end badly. You don't know.
Also just add like some notes. I really liked some of the separation in windows and doorways, like the.
Oh yeah, they did that a lot in these episodes.
Especially the shot when they were in the dining room looking at cousin Richie like through, and he's in the kitchen, and like Carmi's sitting out there right before I think he says the line, and they.
Lighting's really cool there too.
And then they also show the wide shot when he walks into the room and they're like so far apart from each other because they make it look like they're really.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and he like walks all the way over to him. Yeah, there was some, it was really weird because they were like, did that. There was like some wide shots like that. And then everything else was really close.
Yeah. Really
close.
Like,
there's not much in between. Like it was a lot of like either super wide things like that. And then, or close up stuff and like really close up for the dialogue and stuff. And then, and then all like the cuts of like where Tina was practicing all the time in the pasta, like a lot of like quick things like that.
Or even Carmi on the phone in the freezer. And that's another thing you're mentioning. And it's being filmed from like the window outside of the freezer. But that was still like really close up. Yeah, they do that a lot in this. It is cool. I mean, it's a cool effect.
Yeah.
So there's no in between. It's like both extremes.
Yeah.
Also, I just think the lighting and just the show in general just looks really great. And I don't know if like maybe it's just because I haven't seen it since a year ago, the last season, but I was like, this looked even better. But again, they filmed them back to back, so I don't know. But like this looked like they stepped it up even more with the cinematography. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Again, you're right. Like I haven't watched it, but it was definitely good. And
Yeah, really
these
good.
2 episodes. So, but yeah, it's been a while since I watched season 3 and stuff.
Yeah, it was
but
a year ago. I mean, unless you rewatched it, I didn't rewatch it.
no.
I was planning on starting from season 1 again, but I was going to do that before this season came out. But now I'm like, oh, I'm just going to wait and then
Yeah.
definitely going to rewatch it all once it's done. But
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think it's kind of it for my notes on
yeah, that's all I have.
good start to season 4. I think.
Oh yeah, and we'll
yeah,
have more when, like I said, because it's just very beginning, kind of slower start. Like we'll have more to say, I'm sure, in these next episodes.
Yeah. So what do you guys think so far? If you're watching The Bear, season 4, episode 1 and 2, let us know if you agree, disagree with anything we said, or we missed something important.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can do that by emailing us at feedback@screentimepod.com or DM us or leave a comment. Of course, if you'd like, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or YouTube, and or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. And the show is, on those it varies, but Screen Time Pod, some variation of Screen Time Pod, or
Yeah.
underscores or things like that, but in there. And then if you'd like to follow either one of us on Instagram, I'm at JYoungBar.
And I'm at Jared Youngbar.
All right, we'll catch you guys next time.